guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? It's the end of January today. So when I'm currently filming this vlog, it is the end of January. I feel like we have zoomed through it. Normally January is such a slog, but I feel like this one's been really speedy, which is great. And yes, it's been all right. I've spent more money than I liked through January. Few unexpected things going wrong, like the car and stuff like that, but you know, it's life, isn't it? But yeah, all in all, January has been not when you say a word too many times, it starts to sound weird to you. Like January, now I'm hearing it, I'm like, am I even saying that correctly? Anyway, we'll go with it. Yeah, it's not been too bad at all. So roll on February, which I always think is a bit of a tease of a month, because it teases you with moments of spring, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, lovely blue sky, you know, snowdrops are up, daffodils are up, and you're like, oh, this is lovely. And then you get thrown back into winter. It's like fake spring happens in February. So yeah, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the month. It's a naughty month. February, it's a naughty month. Anyway, have you noticed we've got a new intro to the channel? I mean, I'm no good at these sort of things, so it's a very basic intro. But I thought a new one would be quite good. I've had the last one for like 3 years, so I thought, you know, it's like having a new lick of paint on the channel, a little bit of a freshen up. So yeah, I thought it needed an update, but also I got hit with a copyright strike a couple of weeks back now on a really old vlog from like 2 years ago, and it has slightly worried me. So I use like copyright free music on YouTube. There's tons of the stuff, and most of the time all you have to do is just copy, like they'll put in their description below like what they want you to copy and paste, and you just put that in your description and off you go. You're absolutely fine. And that's what I did. And after doing a bit of research, because I couldn't figure out why I'd had this copyright strike, there was no radio on in the background or anything like that. It turns out that artists now that have once put out music that was copyright free have then decided they don't want it to be free any longer. And then you get hit with like a ban or a strike on your video. Now, it doesn't mean the video has to come down or anything like that, but it means it can't be monetized, so you can't earn off of it. And like I say, for this vlog, it doesn't matter. The vlog would probably earn me about 5p. It's not the end of the world. But what does worry me is that that intro music that I had for my past 3 years of vlogging was copyright free music. And so if that artist suddenly decides that it doesn't want it to be free anymore, I could have all my previous videos unmonetized. So I would lose any money that I earned off of them, and I would never earn a penny off of them in the future. And I just think, oh my god, I hope that doesn't happen. That's a lot of work in there. So that's why I decided to do a new intro. I've used YouTube audio music, which is pretty rubbish, but I think this intro music's all right. And I feel that way I'll be safe if anything does happen in the future. And that's why I don't tend to use much music in my vlogs, because I just don't want to risk it. I could use Epidemic Sounds, which is great, like really good, and I've used it in the past, but it's £10 a month. And there are better things that I can spend £10 on. So for now, we're just going to have to stick with boring YouTube audio and just me talking. Sorry about that. So I've just come back from a very excitable hack with Sienna and Coop. Well, Coop, not so much. Coop was like, I want to go out for 30 minutes and then I'm done. Sienna felt like she needed about 3 hours out. She was as high as a kite and just a little bit on one. So she had a day off yesterday. You'd have thought she'd had a month off from the way she was acting. Very sort of snorty, a lot of like piaffing, which, yeah, she looked grand. I was watching her going, you look great, dear. But yes, quite full on, quite exhausting just taking her out, because her little head is so busy, her mind is just always going. So she's like, either she's trying to bite Corporal or she's trying to trot off in front, or if she's not allowed to do that, then she's like, oh, I want to go on the verge. Then I'm like, you don't need to go on the verge. No, I want to go on the verge. And you're like, no, you're not going on the verge. She's like, fine, then I'll go on the pavement. Like, just walk, chill out, look at the view, stop being a pain in the backside. Bless her. Anyway, she's very jolly as always. But let us get into today's vlog. I've stolen this from Pippa Funnell. I saw it on her Facebook the other day and I was like, that's a really good exercise. So she did a sort of circuit training pole and jump exercise that benefited her and her horse. Now for her, she did it without stirrups, so that's why it was really good for the rider. I didn't do it without stirrups because Mr. Coop's feeling quite fresh at the moment when it comes to jumping and poles. He likes to throw in a few butts, and I was like, I don't need to hit the deck. So I was like, I'm going to keep my stirrups for now. But, you know, amazing for core strength if you do it without your stirrups. But anyway, I'll talk you through the exercise. I've had to slightly adjust it to fit in my arena, but it's a real good one, and I think anyone that sets it up, you'll really enjoy it. So yeah, let's get into it. While I'm walking Mr. Cute around, I'll just show you what I've set up. So I have got 3 poles on a very slight curve here for canter, but obviously you could also trot over them. I have got a small upright over there with 2 sort of guy poles afterwards, which we're going to use to do transitions within the pole. poles. Then we've got a small jump across the middle, we've got some trot poles on the diagonal there, and we've got sort of a one canter stride raised poles over there. Like I said, this was like a slightly shorter version of what Pippa set up. So here we go. I've already warmed Corporal up. So to begin with, I just start playing around with the poles. I wanted to kind of work through each pole setup separately, just so I could work out the striding, make sure it worked for Corporal. Corporal got to have a little look and work through it before adding them all together. And what's so wonderful about this kind of circuit training pole exercise is that it really suits all rider and horse levels. So if you want to walk through it all, you can. If you want to canter and jump through it, you can. If you want to just do trot, you can. If you want to mix it up, which is what I did, you can do that as well. This is the only exercise I didn't think worked that well, and simply because I just didn't have enough room in my school. I wanted to be able to jump the small fence and then bring Coop back to trot or a halt in between the poles, but there was about 3 strides after the jump to those poles, and it just wasn't going to work. So if I had a longer arena, I would definitely do that. And then I moved on to just linking all the little pole setups together. And what's so great about this exercise from a rider's point of view, it makes you have to think. So it really gets you thinking on the ball, because stuff comes up so quickly. And it's a great way to work on using your seat, your body and your legs as aids and half halts. So if you have a slight tendency to use your hands a bit too much, I really recommend doing this exercise, because you have to really think about sitting tall, sitting back at times to help balance your horse, especially around the corners or when you're bringing them back down to trot. I added loads of transitions in between each of the pole setups. I just think that's quite useful for Corporal, because he gets a little bit enthusiastic at times. And from a horse point of view, I mean, there's just so much good from this circuit training pole work. It gets your horse thinking for themselves better. It's brilliant for their footwork. Great for transitions, because you're doing them everywhere and anywhere. Great if you want to work on your horse's control and their balance. And obviously, just like any pole work, great for your horse's engagement, core strength. Really helps create elevation, gets those hindquarters moving. But I just love that it was quite a quick thinking exercise. Like, you're certainly not going to get bored. You don't necessarily need any help, unless you've got a horse that likes to take poles out all the time. You didn't need any help on the ground, because once you've got it set up, you've got everything out there that you need to use. Again, with the jumping, sometimes I cantered Coop over the jumps, sometimes I brought him back to trot. I just kept mixing it up to help keep him focused. And yeah, I loved doing the transitions between those 2 poles. I think that worked really well. And if I had more space, I'd add more of those kind of guide poles to do transitions in. Then I thought, Madam, Miss Sienna, also needs a bit of a workout today. So I did an in-hand pole session with her around the same circuit, and it worked just as well. So the only thing I had to change was I made the jumps slightly smaller so she could walk over them. And yeah, we were away. And as you can see with my very bad filming here, it's quite hard to manage Sienna and direct her and hold a phone at the same time. She's not the best. And she was also very keen to have a roll. She kept sort of going, I just want to roll. I was thinking, no, let's just do the poles first. I love doing quite raised walk poles, so the more time your horse has to lift their leg up into the air and balance the rest of their body, the better. So for Sienna, this is a great workout. She naturally likes to stretch her head and neck down. I mean, goodness knows what goes through this girl's brain, but yeah, I love it when an exercise suits all the horses on the yard, and this is a sort of exercise that would do that. So like I say, it doesn't matter if you don't want to jump or something like that. You could do it all in walk, or you could do it all in trot. It's just a real good one. So well done, Pippa Funnell, for putting it out on Facebook so that we could all see it and copy it. And next time I'll be brave and I'll take my stirrups away and I'll have more of the workout than Corporal, and let's see if I can sit to Coop's box.